Oh, it's always a delight when Kevin Danna, the voice of the Golden State Valkyries and the Santa Cruz Warriors, joins us. And that's what's happening today. There's a lot of news we're going to touch on, but I'm just stoked to have my friend Danna, Kevin, first name, joining us. So let's get into it. Kevin, you ready to go, brother?
Let's rock.
Beautiful. This is the Golden Days.
They always find something to nitpick, and that's because there's expectations for us to win. Leave me alone this summer.
Let's go. In a minute, I'ma need a sentimental man or woman to pump me up.
Oh, this is the part of the show where I just don't understand. Welcome to the Golden Days. He is Kevin Danna. Let me get that graphic back up so people can see your name for the entirety of the show. He is the play-by-play voice for the Golden State Valkyries. And it ain't just radio, it's also TV at times. Congratulations on that front, by the way. You're slowly morphing into a TV personality, Kevin, which means that at some point, I don't know if I can keep talking to you, your ego is going to go so big, it's not going to fit on the screen anymore. You're not there yet. And so I'm grateful. I'm kidding, obviously.
Hey, soon enough, I'm going to lose your phone number. So just, don't worry.
A little jab at the TV folks out there. But no, also kidding aside, he's the voice of the Golden State Valkyries and the Santa Cruz Warriors. He might someday, 20 years from now, be the voice of the Golden State Warriors. Do not be surprised by that. But that's a long ways away. For now, it's the Valks, it's Santa Cruz, and it's Golden Days. You can follow Kevin on Twitter at Kevo408. How the hell are you doing, brother? How's your summer going? How was your experience year one? Because it's year one for the entire Valkyries organization, being their play-by-play voice. Great to see you, brother.
Great to see you, Cyrus. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, I mean, summer's been awesome. Like, I've been wanting to do WNBA games for about a decade plus. So, I'd done a couple for the WNBA, like on Twitter a few years ago, but like to, be able to call every game for a team has been awesome. It's been even better than expected. They're right in the thick of the playoff race. A great win last night, 12-13. So, got a big game tomorrow against the Washington Mystics. Winner of that game is in the top 8. So that'll be fun. Of course, top 8 make playoffs. There's 18 games after tomorrow, so it's not do or die by any stretch of the imagination. But it's one you'd want to get.
And your broadcast partner, at least part of the time when you're on the radio side, Sophia Jones, she's here every Monday at 3 p.m. So she's providing myself and the audience with a lot of great information when it comes to the Valkyries. Look, today, some news dropped, courtesy of Anthony Slater. And in the next 24 hours or so, our mutually good friend Larry Kruger and I, we're going to do a show to really break down what that meant. But I'm going to just basically cover the facts of Slater's story. This is pertaining to the never-ending drama surrounding Jonathan Kuminga and the Golden State Warriors. This is, Kevin, in our pre-show meeting, if you will, metaphorically speaking, I brought up the fact that, look, you work for the organization. I'm not going to sit here and ask you intrusive questions or grill you for your opinion on whether or not you think Kuminga's right or wrong or the team's right or wrong. My one question, and I will present all the facts, all the important facts, that came out of the story today. And again, there's going to be another episode coming very soon. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty of that. But the one question I have for you, Kevin, as someone who's been around the game your entire life, or at least for most of your life, certainly nearly all of your adult life, and you've covered the sport, I imagine, since you were a kid. You love basketball. I love basketball. You're a Bay Area born and raised native like me. So I imagine you and I both, we witnessed the Warriors growing up, NBA basketball growing up. Is there anything comparable to this? Because I can't think of a single damn instance. And in this case, it's not just Kuminga and the Warriors. We're talking about 4 restricted free agents. And these 4 players have real talent. And they're just sitting there pissed off that they're not getting the money they think they deserve. And we're just in limbo. And for the Warriors, from the Warriors' perspective, it's holding up all these other decisions. We've had an utterly inactive offseason. What does this compare to you? In your mind?
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. Like, nothing off the top of my head comes to mind. I'm sure maybe there have been other situations like this. There's nothing that I can specifically remember. Again, to be the Johnny corporate here and to bore the hell out of your audience. as an employee.
As long as you're honest about it. My gripe, Kevin, sorry to interrupt you real fast. My gripe is always, don't pretend you're not. Like just all people want is authenticity. All people want is transparency and the truth. You work for the Warriors organization. There's only so much you can say, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just glad you're just being forthright. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. No, it's like, I mean, I honestly have no idea beyond like what's been written. I have no insight. Trust me, Mike Dunleavy is not calling me for my opinion on it.
He should
be.
I think he should.
No, so like I have no insight to what's going on there. And yet I mean, I have been following free agency, the vast majority of my adult career. I can't think of anything where like there's been multiple free agents like this across the NBA where it's, where there haven't been deals like immediately done, but I could be, to borrow Roger Clemens' term, misremembering something.
You're referring to very crafty language that certain individuals use to wiggle their way out of situations. I think Bill Clinton was the absolute master of that. That's why they called him Slick Willie. Same with the former mayor of San Francisco, Willie Brown. They had his same nickname. I'm not picking specific individuals of a political party.
Is this politics days now?
But it's politics, man. Yes, I'm saying you're being a masterful politician, sir.
No,
except for being honest, and I love that. I respect that. So here are the facts real fast. And again, we're going to do another show soon. Again, Larry Kruger and I think Larry will be the next person joining the program. We'll probably do a dual stream talking about this. Side note, Kevin, I don't know if I shared this with you. On Friday, August 1st, FanDuel becomes an official sponsor of this program. We're going to have FanDuel Day on August 1st. And stay tuned for that as well. But I know you can't gamble on sports, Kevin, and justifiably so, because you work in the NBA and there's a massive conflict of interest there, but you do love gambling when it doesn't involve sports. Does FanDuel have a good casino scene? Like, meaning, like, a lot of these sports books and gambling websites, they have like blackjack, they have the slots, and that's this kind of stuff I think you're interested in. All legal, of course, right?
You are correct. Well, not slots. I'm not a slots guy.
Okay.
I'm a blackjack, poker, and craps guy through and through. I don't know if FanDuel offers that kind of stuff because I just go to casinos like when I'm on vacation or like a work trip and I'm in Vegas. I'm in Vegas for work, like a decent bit. That's when I go hit the tables. Like I probably should go to like Casino Matrix and Bay 101 more, but I kind of draw the line there. So yeah, I don't know if FanDuel has something like that, but I'm all about my table games.
I don't blame you
for sure.
When in Rome, in this case, when in Vegas, right? And if you're at Caesar's Palace, you practically are in Rome. Yeah, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you on that. But
did Caesar live here? That's a Hangover reference.
Is that from the movie The Hangover? Is that what you were thinking?
Yeah. This wasn't
Zach Galifianakis.
Caesar live here? I forget the exact line, but
you made me laugh there. That was funny. Oh yeah, great movie, great a trilogy of movies. Anyways, FanDuel is going to be sponsoring us soon. Speaking of sponsors, let's give some love real fast to our one sponsor for the day, and that is an awesome cover band. They're called Decades, and their website is decadesofficial.com. And Kevin, this brings up, I think, a good question to ask you, sir, if you don't mind me bringing this up. Yeah. What are your musical tastes? And I know you personally, hip hop is your flavor, but if you had a cover band showing up, like, and whether, you might want to hire live music for, let's say, a birthday, an anniversary, a wedding, right? Maybe a corporate fundraiser, bringing up old movie references. I love bringing up the old Catalina wine mixer and the fact that Prestige Worldwide was needed to save that vitally important corporate event. You might need some live music for your event as well, and that's where Decades is available for you. They're a cover band that plays everything from the 50s today, from Chuck Berry to Katy Perry. So, Kevin, let's say hypothetically you're getting married, and sorry to put you in that position.
A very hypothetical situation.
Wipe the sweat off your brow. You're not getting married, actually. You're a smart man like I. We're both bachelors, and for good reason. But if you were in a situation where you had to get some live music going and you needed a cover band and Decades was hired, and you reached out to Kyle at atomicmusicgroup.com. Again, Kyle at atomicmusicgroup.com. That's who you reach out to if you want to book this awesome band. Kevin, what's on your wish list? What's on your request list, if you will, for live music if you had Decades playing for you? And keep in mind, they can play hip hop as well.
Well, I see the guitars and stuff. I'd probably request some Smashing Pumpkins. I love mid-90s alternative rock. I love alternative rock in addition to my hip-hop and house and all sorts of electronic music, drum and bass, two-step, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I see a little Smashing Pumpkins I think would probably be the vibe I'd want to go for with a cover band like that if they could play that kind of thing. Just seeing the guitars, the drum sets, and that a little Tonight, a little Today, so something like that.
There you go. And all you need to do, again, is visit decadesofficial.com. You can follow them on Facebook and Instagram at decadesofficial. They're there for you. Thank us later. Mention Golden Days. You'll get a discount. They're NorCal natives. They're Golden Dazers. They play every pregame Niner party next door to Levi Stadium at Great America. They're called Red Zone Rallies. They're playing that, and they could play your event. Go book them today. Decadesofficial.com is the website. And going back here to the Warriors, and if you're joining us live, you can read the chat as well as us. And the chat is just talking about the topic of the day primarily. So we'll briefly touch on that because, at least from an informative perspective, we'll put on a reporter's hat just to provide some information in regards to what Slater dug up in a new piece on ESPN. Slater, I'm referring more so to Anthony Slater, who's now working for ESPN. And his story today was chock full of information, jam-packed with numbers, with specifics. Bravo to him and Shams Charania for a detailed report today. Here is what Slater revealed. The Warriors are offering Jonathan Kuminga 2 years, $45 million. Adding to what I think is an insult. And again, again, Kevin, if you want to jump in at any point, please do, but I'm not holding you to that, obviously. But when you look at, again, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again, I will be a broken record on this topic because so many people are still just ignorant or naive, just unaware, uninformed, if you will, to how much Jonathan Kuminga's peers in his draft class have similarly earned, meaning Franz Wagner, for example, who was drafted after Kuminga, has nearly $250 million guaranteed coming to him. Players like Jalen Suggs, players like Jalen Green, players like Scotty Barnes, all in Kuminga's draft class. And Josh Giddey's in a very similar boat right now. This is why they're both asking for $30 million annually. And the Warriors are coming back with, how's 20 and change? And on top of that, the offer that the Warriors are presenting includes not a player option for year two, but a team option for year two. On top of that, that type of offer, meaning a 2-year contract, in this case being 2 years, $45 million, with a team option in year two, that would give Kuminga, under this current CBA, an option to reject any trade. He has a no-trade clause, essentially, if he agrees to a contract like that. The Warriors are asking him to agree to that contract and then waive the no-trade clause because they want the freedom to trade him if they want. And Kuminga and his agent, Aaron Turner, are looking at this, and they're going, what is going on here? Like, let us go. The same report also said the Phoenix Suns are offering 4 years, $90 million, a lot more guaranteed money, probably still not where Kuminga wants annually, but it's a hell of a lot more than what the Warriors are offering. Kuminga wants out. The Warriors are literally now shutting down sign and trade conversations with other teams because they seem to be all in on Kuminga coming back next year, happy or not. They're reportedly, again, this is all in this story. I'm not giving you any conjecture or opinions here. In the same story, and this, which is a crazy thing to say, in the same story, the Warriors are basically entering this situation with the mindset that Kuminga might accept a qualifying offer. All of this is batshit crazy to me. And I'll leave. Did I miss? Let me see if anything in the chat that anyone said that I missed. I think that's everything. And it's insanity. I don't know where this is going to end up. Kevin, I've been talking to a lot of my insider friends just to get some perspective on this. Some people do think the Warriors have a valid position here in terms of the negotiations and the market and what's presenting itself. A lot of other people are looking at this from Kuminga's perspective, going, just let this kid go. He never had the opportunities. He's getting lowballed here potentially. It's a mess. It's a mess. And I know you can't opine on this. Do you have anything you want to say? I'm sorry to go off like this.
No, I mean, to be clear, no one's told me anything on like what I should or shouldn't say in this situation. But I just don't know, like, you know what I mean? It's like, I'd rather not.
No one does.
I'm just trying, as much as I enjoy coming on Golden Days, I like doing games more, Cyrus. And I'm not saying
Kevin,
like
your colleague Sophia Jones, I think, said it best on Monday. She said, I do this to talk X's and O's. I do this to talk basketball. I don't do this to try to learn the CBA and learn free agent nomenclature and all this bullshit. This is not fun for anyone. It's lunacy. And I just hope it gets resolved. But we're gonna we'll have future episodes. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. All I was saying was like, there hasn't been a directive for me to say one thing or another. I just like, I'm out of my depth in like, all right, what is like something I just don't know like what I could or couldn't say. So I'd rather just not say anything. You know what I mean?
I don't blame you.
So like, yeah. And like, yeah, that's what I would say. There's like, no one's like, this isn't like, Suge Knight, holding me hostage or anything like that. But I just, I like my job, and I want to make sure I stay in, try to stay in good graces and that kind of thing.
Of course.
Yeah,
and not to mention, it's like, I don't even know. I mean, look, I don't even know if there's a right opinion. This thing is just muddled, and I just hope it gets resolved soon. Let me say this. Let me shifting gears from Kuminga for a second, because there's a lot of speculation out there that the Warriors do have some free agents locked up. And maybe, I guess, one name seems to be fairly secure, and that's DeAnthony Melton as a potential free agent. He was on the Warriors last year. If that's true, I love it. I think he is a perfect fit on this team. Anthony Slater also reported that Seth Curry seems to be on the radar of the Golden State Warriors. I love that piece of information. Al Horford has been linked to the Warriors for I feel like a month and a half, almost 2 months now. No one knows if even he's made a decision, but let's say for the sake of argument, he does play for the Warriors. I love that as long as he's healthy. So this offseason could still, as crazy as this may sound, end up being a massive win for the Warriors. I feel like that's like on top of everything else. There's your whipped cream and cherry, is that, oh wait, despite all this madness, at the end of the day, we can have a happy ending. This could just be a wild ride, like a Con Air type movie that ends up with a happy ending. That's what could happen here. It's wild, dude.
I was a big fan of Con Air, by the way. Great movie. Fantastic movie. And you think about it, without getting into potential free agents or whatever, this team did go to the second round of the playoffs in the Western Conference, was up 1-0 on the Minnesota Timberwolves. And then Steph got hurt, and it's gonna, that's gonna change everybody's fortune. So they're not super far away, right? I don't think the expectation, with the Thunder, with the Nuggets, with the Clippers, with as good as the West is, as long as you're giving yourself a position to get into the second round of the playoffs, I think it's basically all you can ask for the last couple of years of these contracts of Stephen Curry and Jimmy Butler, right? And that gives you a chance to roll the dice and dance. And who knows what injuries which teams have, and from there, I think if you're finishing in the top 25%, essentially, it's top 27%, 8 out of 30. I think it's 26.7% with a line over it. We'll call it top 25%. If you're finishing in the top quarter of the NBA, I don't think you can consider that a disappointment. That is I think kind of what you shoot for, and then you roll the dice from there and see what can happen.
And another name, by the way, and I'm not disagreeing with anything. You're right. You're absolutely right. Reaching the conference semis is an accomplishment. The pushback to that could be you have Steph, you have a dynasty, it's championship or bust, and I get that rhetoric too. But you're great point. No, that's a perspective that I will get no pushback from me here. Nikola Vucevic is a name also brought up by James Hawthorne in the chat. And that's another name that could come to the Warriors. I know he's writing that the Lakers are connected to him, but look, until the pen is on the paper, who knows, right?
Yeah,
and he's been linked to the Warriors before as well. My point is, this offseason, as incomplete as it's been, could still be very successful. Stay tuned. It's insanity.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah. I haven't gotten a really solid analysis on the Warriors' 2 second-round picks, and that's the extent of the activity for the Golden State Warriors this offseason. They traded down. They got 2 second-round picks who very possibly, like very realistically, could be on the roster on day one, largely because of how little money they make and the fact that the 13th and 14th roster positions on the Warriors may not have that amount of that much importance. So, I mean, what I'm trying to say here is that they might just be filling roster spaces at the end, right? And those the 2 of those seats that might be filled are these second-round picks. Will Reddy and it was Alex Tui from Australia.
Yeah, Will Richard, and Alex Tui. Yep.
Will Richard. Why did I say Reddy? Will Richard. Thank you for that. And Alex Tui. I don't know much about him, man. I know Will Richard was the leading scorer in a championship game in college, which is a damn awesome thing to boast. He looked good in summer league. Alex Tui looked a little raw, if you will. But I don't know much about him, man. Do you know anything more?
So, like, I called the California Classic games, and, like, Tui played it. I called 2 of the games at the Cali Classic, 2 of the 3. Tui played in 1 of them, I think. I'll say his NBL highlights in Australia are legit. Like, I see why the Warriors drafted him. Like, he's a grab-and-go forward who's really kind of slick with the rock. Like, if that comes together – like at the American professional level. And I would say the G League's like a step up from the NBL. I feel pretty confident in saying that. I might get some pushback from Australia there. Like the NBL is a very good look. Don't get me wrong. I would slot the G League at the 3rd best league in the world behind the NBA and Euro League on the men's side. So that's how I would do it. Yeah, I might get some pushback there. But like, I'd like to see him in the G League first, see if that can translate. And the same thing with Will Richard. Like, you know, Quinn Post, before he stepped into the Warriors rotation, was in Santa Cruz and was playing every game in Santa Cruz for the better part of 6-7 weeks. So, like, yeah, they might be the 13th and 14th man, but as soon as, like, the first, second week in November hits when the G League season starts, I would expect them to be spending at least some time. Like, there's no second-round pick that the Warriors have drafted that hasn't played in the G League besides Draymond Green. I'm just my years in the G League basically starts with Draymond Green's rookie year. He's the only second-rounder I can think of that did not play for the Santa Cruz Warriors that they drafted. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. So, like, I expect them to spend a lot of time in Santa Cruz at first and then see kind of what happens from there. But, yeah, Will Richard had a nice summer league. He impressed in the games that I did, and I think there's something there with Alex Tui, and I'm very curious to kind of see that blossom under Lane Wilson. I would imagine that would be the plan with these. I don't have any inside information on that, but just seeing late second-round pick, you're probably going to play in the G League for a little bit at first to start your career.
Normally, that would be like the script, right? That's typically, like you said, how it goes. But the Warriors could be, and again, there's so much not settled here yet, but there is a potential for the Warriors to be so close to the cap, in this case, meaning the second apron, if they use that taxpayer mid-level exception, that you might see these second rounders on the roster on day one. All I'm saying is just to the fans, don't be surprised if you see that on day one, because you're right, Kevin. Typically, that is that is the protocol that they like to have their draft picks develop a little bit, get some run. In a situation that has less pressure and the G League experience, if you will.
And they could do that on a Golden State contract. They could just be assigned. Like Kuminga was assigned. Moses Moody was assigned. So like that's what I like. I mean, depending on what happens in free agency, and like they could either put them on a 2-way contract. They could retain their rights, which I think would be unlikely, and just like stash them in the G League for a year. That's what they did with Guy Santos his rookie year. But like there's a good chance that all right, depending on how free agency goes, they are on the full Golden State roster, and then they just get assigned to Santa Cruz. And, like you would expect them the first month or so to really not crack the rotation at Golden State, see what they could do in the G League. So like both things could happen there.
And again, if you're a Santa Cruz Warriors fan, and I know a lot of you folks are, and I know those games sell out. The fan base is passionate. So stay tuned, man. As Kevin Danna just said, you're going to get those second rounders playing on the Santa Cruz team, which should add to the excitement down in Surf City, the real Surf City, I might add.
That's right. What did they say? Manhattan Beach is Surf City or something?
Huntington Beach. Huntington Beach. Huntington. Look.
Come on, Santa Cruz is Surf City.
As someone, you're absolutely right. As someone who used to actually be a professional surf journalist, a job that did once exist, the true story. I've had this back and forth with some of the hardcore surfers in this world. They call Huntington Beach Surf City entirely because the industry's there. Huntington Beach does not have world-class waves. It can have good waves, but it's a beach break. And a lot of the times, these are closeouts, these are shore pounds. Whereas you have Santa Cruz, where you don't have the surf industry as much. You don't have the sun and the warmth that Huntington Beach can provide. You don't have the trunks and the bikinis everywhere, but you do have world-class waves. And it's a ridiculous argument to pretend that Santa Cruz is not the real surf city, unless again you're talking about the aesthetics, about the eye candy. Yeah.
So one follow-up story on this, James Michael McAdoo, if you remember him.
I do.
I feel like I can say this now. That
North Carolina? Hello?
Yeah. Now that he's not in the organization. He took surfing lessons when he was with the Santa Cruz Warriors. Maybe, I'm not sure if it was before he got called up to Golden State or not. But like he used to surf when he was in Santa Cruz a little bit. With the Santa Cruz Warriors. And then, of course, he got called up. I'm not sure if Golden State put a kibosh on that. But, one of our players, used to surf back in the day. It was James.
And did the team step in because of the injury risk?
Well, I just don't know, what an NBA contract says. Hey, you can't do X, Y, and Z while you're on an NBA contract. Because they have those, you can't do, imagine, probably can't bungee jump or something like that, or skydive. So it's I don't know if surfing falls into that. It
can.
I remember I think one of our employees even used to take him out surfing. So yeah.
I think I remember hearing something about it. Did he ever get good at it though, or was he just trying and then the Warriors were like, no?
He liked it. I know he liked it.
It's a fun sport.
I never saw footage of it, so I don't know how good he was.
And then you have B40 in the chat evoking the great Monte Ellis riding the moped. Jesus Christ, dude. The Warriors just have drama surrounding them on a consistent basis. I can't believe that. I forgot all about the Monte Ellis moped story. It's just drama on the reg when it comes to the Golden State Warriors. And speaking of drama and former Warriors players, I think this is a good time to seg into this. Gilbert Arenas. I don't know how much you could talk about this story, Kevin, but oh boy, I can make one confident prognostication here for this program. Our service here, meaning the show that we operate, will never be interrupted because federal agents are going to put me in jail in a federal prison for running an illegal gambling ring. I promise you that's never going to happen. I don't know if you can say the same for the Gilbert Arenas show or Gil's Pod, Gil's Arena, whatever that thing is called. Arena. Have you heard about this story?
I read through it a little bit, without kind of knowing all the facts. As a former I grew up idolizing Gilbert Arenas. His 2 years on Golden State were magical. I hate to see the headlines surrounding him like this. Obviously very serious stuff though.
And I think this Kuminga thing, if you're an old school fan like I am, and you remember Gilbert Arenas, and again, look, when I say I'm old school, I date back to the 80s, but if you remember the Gilbert Arenas, the contract negotiations and the fact that the Warriors lost him for nothing, you might be getting a little triggered right now with the Jonathan Kuminga situation, because I don't think anybody who loves the Warriors want to lose them for nothing. And that scenario might play out, not this offseason likely, but could be as soon as next offseason. Gilbert Arenas, the Warriors lost him, like you said, after those 2 magical years for nothing, because back then the CBA had a rule where second-round picks, it had something to do with the amount of money that Gilbert could make, and the Warriors were up against the cap, right? And so they literally couldn't offer him what other teams were offering. Is that a fair?
Yeah, like you could only sign a second-round pick to a 2-year contract, right? Was that it?
It was something like that.
And Bruce Morrow had too much money.
Magical, maybe a strong word to use.
They had
for
too much money like tied into other players where they couldn't offer like what eventually the Wizards. Well, Bruce Morrow, let me just say there were some like dark years for the Golden State Warriors in the late 90s. And so Gilbert's rookie year, that was what, 2002, I want to say? Was it Eric Musselman's first year as head coach? Like they went, or maybe that was his second year. And like, I think that might've been his second. It was either his first or second year. Like I could go on Basketball Reference really quickly and check this out, but I'm not going to because I'm lazy. But like that first year, Eric Musselman, like they went 38-44. They defeated the San Antonio Spurs game 1. I was hyped up. Like I was used to 65 lost seasons and that kind of thing. And Gilbert Arenas was just like this buzzsaw, like him and Troy Murphy. Like they had something going. Then Dunleavy was drafted around that time. And it's like, all right, look, there have been some dark days. Like Gilbert Arenas like was injecting a lot of life into this team. And that's like why I consider it magical. 38-44 doesn't sound magical now, but to 16-year-old Kevin who had watched 19-63 and 21-61, 38-44. Like I didn't even think of I didn't even dream about the Warriors like making the second round of the playoffs growing up. Like it was beyond my wildest dreams that they would ever win an NBA championship. It seems so far away from like what would ever happen. The fact that they won 4 titles, like, blown my mind.
It's a great perspective you're adding, great information you're adding. Do you want to real fast, this conversation, this topic made me look up some of the recent, when I say recent, I'm going back 30 years, but a history of Golden State Warriors head coaches. You want to hear who's been running this team going back to 1995?
Oh, yeah. Well, 95, that would be PJ, right? After Don Nelson.
1995 was when Don Nelson, I believe, was forced out. And this was soon after the Chris Webber fiasco, where Nelly, I think, was, correct me if I'm wrong on this, I think he was the head coach and GM, and they ultimately gave Webber a contract. Because Webber did, and again, if this all sounds familiar, you have a better understanding why I get triggered sometimes about the small ball stuff. But in 1995 or 94, Don Nelson wanted Chris Webber to essentially be like a point center. An idea that Chris Webber was like, what are you talking about? Webber, in a lot of ways, expressed similar sentiments to Anthony Davis in modern times, where he wanted to play the 4, not the 5. Don Nelson was a small ball advocate, and in so many ways, years ahead of where the game is now. I mean, he was decades ahead of the curve, I think. But in this instance, Chris Webber is hesitant to sign with the Warriors. He agrees to a contract that was for 15 years, $74 million. And I don't know how I remember all this still, but I do. But it had an out clause after year 1, which obviously Chris Webber was going to exercise, and he did. And he forced his way out. It was, I think, a sign and trade to the Washington Bullets back then. Tom Gugliotta comes back. The rest is history. I think Tom Gugliotta had numerous iterations. He got transformed into, I think, Donnell Marshall, who got transformed into the guy from Cincinnati. I forgot his name, and then it's off from there. Anyway, do you know what I'm talking about? Was it Chris Fortson? Was that his name?
There was a Danny Fortson.
I don't think it was Danny Fortson, though, but
because Danny Fortson played for the Warriors.
You're right. But I don't know if that's what
you're thinking of. A different guy. Huh.
It might be him. No,
I kind of know who you're talking about, but
if it comes to you, just bring it up. And if anyone in the chat knows what I'm talking about,
that guy was a hell of a player, by the way.
He was a hell of a player, but no, he wasn't Chris Webber. I mean, it's
true.
And that's who the end result was. Anyways. So Don Nelson, I think, got forced out. Correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm getting that part of it entirely correct, but I think that's kind of what happened.
I was
Bob Lanier took over. What's up?
I was 8 when all that happened, so I don't really remember.
I was in high school. Bob Lanier took over for a brief spell because Nelly got canned, I think, midway through the season because the Tom Gugliotta experiment was quickly derailing, and people realized, oh my God, we just lost Chris Webber for Tom Gugliotta. Sorry, Nelly, you're out. Bob Lanier becomes interim coach for the rest of that season. Rick Adelman becomes head coach for 2 years. PJ Carlissimo becomes head coach for 2 years. Our boy, the Saint, Gary St. Jean, briefly head coach in 1999-2000. Then, Dave Cowens. Then Brian Winters. Did you remember that?
I remember Brian Winters' years. Yeah, I was watching like every game back then. Yeah.
And then he lasted a season. Eric Musselman lasted 2 seasons. Mike Montgomery, who coached at your alma mater, Stanford, and he did a great job at Stanford, but it did not translate to the Warriors. He coached for 2 years. Nelly comes back, and we get the We Believe Warriors. Then Keith Smart was a head coach briefly. I think he was on an interim basis. And then that leads to the modern era where Mark Jackson, who still I think is undersold in terms of what he did to this organization, flipping the script, teaching, instilling defense and a mentality that you need for a championship culture. Mark Jackson steps in, coaches the team for 3 years, and then we have the Steve Kerr era. That is your run. Any thoughts?
I mean, I will say this. When Mark Jackson said Steph Curry and Klay Thompson could be the best shooting backcourt of all time, I thought he was crazy. Obviously, he knew what he was talking about. Like, I mean, I was like thinking in the back of my mind, I was like, what are we talking about here? Come on. Like, you guys are like 23, 24 years old. You're going to call them best shooting backcourt of all time? Well, he was right. You know, you got to tip your cap to Mark Jackson for that.
Going back to this Gilbert Arenas thing, quickly wrapping it up, just to give you some details for this gambling ring, because I'll say this, and again, I'm never going to run a gambling ring myself. I don't think I'll ever be in a position of to have the resources and the pool to do something like this. But Gilbert Arenas, the same guy who some years back had that incident with Javaris Crittenton, where they both brought guns into the locker room. And side note, the Gilbert Arenas guns thing, I think started with the Warriors. I forgot, what was the brawl? I think Jay Rich was involved in the fight. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like there was some sort of scuffle.
Really? I mean, I thought it was like a locker room scuffle or whatever, and like they just like flashed guns at each other or something.
Well, that's years later. But when Arenas was with the Warriors, I'm drawing a blank on the incident. If someone in the chat watching this live remembers this, what time is it? I know you got to go. So, okay, we got 10 minutes. I just remember there was like a fight within the Warriors that got very serious, and Gilbert Arenas was running, and there were weapons involved. And I'm going to look this up for the next show because now I'm pissing myself.
I don't remember this.
Yeah, but that was the precursor to Gilbert Arenas being armed, because he ran from this fight that involved weapons, and I can't remember the other players involved. I can't remember if Steven Jackson wasn't with the Warriors at that point, was he? I don't think he was. Anyways, I'll look that up and find it. But Gilbert Arenas, yes, years later with Javaris Crittenton, has the gun situation in the locker room. He gets in massive trouble for that. He was suspended, I think, for over half a season for that. So he gets indicted federally, and that's no joke, dude. It is a night and day difference between the federal government bringing you down and local authorities bringing you down. What I don't get is, if you're Gilbert Arenas, I imagine you have enough money to last like 100 lifetimes. Like, is it just the juice? Is it just the rush of doing something like this? Because why are you like running illegal high stakes poker games at your mansion with former like Israeli mobsters? It's just, dude, it's insane.
Yeah.
And the games they were running, and I'm curious to know if you're familiar with this game, because the indictment actually included it. They said that the games they were playing were called, I think, Omaha Poker. Are you familiar with that?
There's Omaha High Low. I don't really know how to play Omaha.
Pot Limit Omaha,
PLO. Yeah. One of my boys loves PLO. I don't know. I think Pot Limit Omaha, you get four hold cards, and they put 5, and you have to use 2 of the 5. I kind of get it, but I really don't. I would never like go to a casino and play pot limit Omaha. Like I don't know it that well. I would never play in a PLO tournament or anything like that. But I know it is like a popular style of poker. It's sort of Hold'em, but not.
What's the difference?
There's like
Can you explain it or no?
What's up?
Is there a fundamental difference between Texas Hold'em and
So Texas Hold'em? You get 2 down cards. You get 2 hold cards. I think in Omaha games you get 4, but you can only use 2, I think.
Oh, I like that. So
Yeah,
that one card that gets flashed.
Too.
So you're really just gambling with that one card that's going to get flipped out. So it's a shorter game, I imagine.
I mean, to any of our Golden Days viewers, if any of you are love cards as much as I do or more than I do, feel free to correct us in the chat on how to play Omaha. But yeah, I think that's kind of it. Like I watch poker on Twitch all the time. And so like I have this one guy, I just watch him play tournaments just to keep my poker mind sharp. And like he plays a little Omaha, he plays a little PLO. There's like high-low, there's like a low hand, a high hand. There's like different forms of Omaha. So yeah.
Keep me in mind if you ever are part of or organize any private games, man. I would not turn you down, sir. If you did that. Just keep me in mind. And Bruce Morrow's bringing up the brawl against the Blazers in 2002, and I think you're on the right track there. This was an incident where, and I think this was in Oakland, and the Blazers were being their bus was being prevented from leaving. I don't know if it's the same fight. I'm going to do an episode just covering that whole time period because there were a lot of insane fights going on, and those stories are also a huge reason why, again, the Draymond Green Jordan Poole incident, I will maintain this to the end. If that was not leaked, nobody's talking about that. Nobody. Like that is not a talking point. Jordan Poole is probably still with the Warriors. The dynasty may not be disrupted. Leaking that video was so destructive. And we don't know who leaked it. Crazy. To this day.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll ever find out.
I don't. Who knows? I'm curious. Hugh Vision in the chat's adding, it's not illegal to gamble privately, but it's illegal for the host to rake in profit.
Yeah.
And adding to that, just to add to the story, and we'll finish up on this topic. And I want to talk Valkyries before you go. Prosecutors say that the group hired chefs, valets, and armed security guards to staff the games. And I think this is the part where they're getting into huge trouble here. As well as young women who served drinks, provided massages, and offered companionship to the poker players in exchange for tips. And that the co-conspirators took a cut of the servers' tips from the game. In other words, it wasn't just gambling going on, it was pimping going on. Gilbert, I'm curious to see what happens at Gil's Arena.
I will say, I mean, companionship sounds a little nefarious, but like it's common to like, you can get massages at poker tables. Like that's pretty common. Like you'll see, like if you're watching poker on TV, like you'll see like, maybe one guy at a table, like regularly have someone giving him a massage. Like that's kind of normal. I don't know what the companionship means. I mean, your mind could kind of run wild with that, but I won't offer any suggestions.
Stay tuned for Gil's Arena. I'm curious to know if who's Kenny and Martin's going to take over Swaggy P. Those two have some funny fights, man. Like those two clearly hate each other. But have you ever watched that show?
No, but I have a friend who loves Gil's Arena. I hear it's a fantastic podcast.
It's okay. I don't watch it regularly, but I've seen snippets. But I feel like every snippet they publish is just Swaggy P and Kenny and Martin Sr. just going at it. Like, and that's like 90% of the show. That's all I look at are just those snippets that they publish. The Valkyries, brother, how are they doing, man? This Kayla Thornton injury was devastating. Clearly, they had lost 4 or 5 before beating the Dream 2 nights ago. Great victory for the Golden State Valkyries. How are they doing, man? Like what I've always said is year one expansion team, 0 expectations. The fact that head coach Natalie Nicase, who I've been doing nothing but sing praises for, I hope she wins Coach of the Year. She's doing a fantastic job. I think for year one of an organization, I don't know if you could do better outside of the Vegas, the Golden Knights. I mean, that's an unbelievable story. I think it's all roses. What are your thoughts, despite the recent slide? And yes, they did win a recent game.
Yeah, so they're 2-1 without Kayla Thornton, and it's going to be tough to like continue that. Because Kayla coming off her first All-Star appearance, like, all right, Valkyrie's right there. And then 6-7 hours before the tip of their first game after the All-Star break against Dallas, it's announced that she had knee surgery and that she's done for the season. So definitely a gut punch to the Valkyries. But hey, since, Dallas, they're second to last in the WNBA, or no, they're in 11th now, third to last. But they've been playing better as of late. They just defeated the New York Liberty. That wasn't an easy win. And then to beat the Atlanta Dream on the road was huge after a really rough performance Sunday in Connecticut. Like a quick turnaround was kind of rough. I mean, you playing a 10 a.m. body clock time on Sunday after playing a Friday night game, you going across the country. That's kind of tough. But look, they're a half game out of the last playoff spot right now. And they play the team that's in eighth, right? Coming up. The Washington Mystics. And to your point with Natalie Nakase, if the Valkyries sneak into the playoffs, she has to be the coach of the year.
She's brilliant, dude. She's a brilliant coach. Nothing but respect from what I've seen so far.
The Atlanta Dream, the last expansion team, went 4-30 in year one. The Chicago Sky, I think, went 5-29 or something like that in their year one in 2006. Like, no expansion team has made the playoffs in year one in WNBA history. There's been one expansion team to have a winning record in year one. That was the 98 Detroit Shock, I want to say. But they didn't make the playoffs. And so, I think, look, if you get to 20 wins, you give yourself a chance. At 22, I think for sure gets you into the playoffs. So that's kind of where they're looking at right now. They're 12-13 with 19 games to go. So, no, they've been doing really well. It's been a lot of fun. Covering this team and big one tomorrow against the Mystics.
Huge one. Yeah, absolutely. And last night's game, or 2 nights ago, I'm sorry.
Last night.
It did have some levity near the end there. The highlight should have been the Golden State Valkyries hitting a game-winning shot with 3 seconds left. They escape with a win, but somebody throws an object on the court. It's neon green. No one knows what it is at first. And then slowly, there's a camera shot up close. And the moment we saw that shot, everyone knew what it was. Dude, look, I have the sense of humor of a 13-year-old. So forgive me for my immaturity, but I laugh at a lot of silly things. And that is funny to me. What was your reaction to seeing as in Fight Club, they like to say a dildo, not your dildo. Your thoughts on the inanimate object thrown onto the court?
So as I'm calling the action, it's a tie game with 1 minute to go. This is crunch time.
Yes.
The Valkyries are kind of blowing this game at the moment. They did come back to tie it up, but they've scored 6 points all fourth quarter to this point. It just hadn't been going well. And then this green thing lands right next to Veronica Burton, literally 3 to 5 feet from her, with the shot clock winding down. And I don't know the rule book well enough to say all right, shouldn't they have just stopped the game right there? And all right, let's figure out what the hell this is. I just see this green thing come onto the court. I'm what is going on? I mentioned there's this object's been thrown on the court. We can't see what it is zoomed out. And I thought, and Natalie Nakase kind of said it post game, that maybe they should have stopped the action.
They didn't stop.
Yeah, and so eventually, they let the Valkyries take a shot clock violation because the three gets missed. It goes out of bounds. It was an air ball. And then they try to sort this out after the possession, which is a little weird to me. I thought they should have just stopped it right there, let the Valkyries take it out with 8 and 9 on the shot clock, whatever.
I think most people thought that, by the way. It was very unusual that they did not stop the action when this neon green thing is coming out of nowhere and is bouncing on the court. Insane visuals. It's all over social media.
Crazy. So, all right, So then, like, Sophia and I are discussing it on the radio, like, what should be the protocol here. And then they do the zoom. They zoom in on it, and like I just started laughing. Like literally, I was mid-sentence and I just busted up. I'm like, I've never seen anything like this before. I've done a lot of basketball. I've never seen that. And then Sophia had an incredible way to describe it, because we're trying to not say this on the air.
That word, yes. I could say a dildo. Yes, yeah.
Yeah. and she labeled it a profane projectile, which I thought was amazing. Great alliteration, number one. It's just a perfect way to describe it. That made me laugh some more. But yeah, I mean, this thing almost hit one of our players who had the basketball in her hands at the time. Like, how do you not just stop it right there? That was wild to me. But,
it was wild.
But hey, you know what? All's forgiven because the Valkyries won the game. But I just absolutely nuts. And then you see all this stuff like post game, all the videos taken of it online. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, when I saw what it was, I just started laughing. What's up, E. Leezy? But like, yeah, I was like, I mean, at some point, it was like, all right, this is absurd. Like, I know it is funny on one level, but also like that could have really hurt somebody.
It's funny because there were nobody got harmed. We would not be joking about this.
That could have hit Veronica Burton very easily,
and it could have hurt. I don't mean to be descriptive here. I'm not going to go any further than that. But let's just say that did make contact. It could have hurt.
Yeah,
it could have caused injury. Could have. Let's be real.
It was wild. And like, our producer, RC Day, was saying like, I hope like just people don't like get motivated by this idea, right? And then like start doing this at other games. Like
the great RC Davis, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully this doesn't happen again. It's funny because no one got hurt. It didn't cost the Valkyries the game. We can chuckle now. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I've done a lot of G League games where crazy stuff happens. I've done some NBA games. I've done international games. I've never seen anything like this.
They have a tradition in hockey where I think if a player scores a hat trick,
everyone throws
octopi, right?
Yeah, that's the Red Wings that do the octopus, I think. Sometimes fans just throw hats on.
Hats,
yeah.
You're right. It's a Detroit thing with the octopi, which is an insane tradition. I've always wondered, like, how are you getting those octopi in the arena? Like, are you carrying those things with you? is the arena providing that for you? Anyways, the reason why I bring all that up is there any possibility of this becoming some sort of insane, comical, fun tradition, or was this just a one-off? Like, in other words, can we someday see raining dildos if certain accomplishments are hit? Let's say a 50-point game.
I mean, like, the thing with hockey is that, like, those players have protective gear on. So, like, you get hit with a squid or whatever, like, it's whatever. Like, you got these things flying down, like, yeah, that could be bad news.
Fair.
I mean, yeah, I doubt it becomes a thing.
Rocket, I know, I was kidding saying that. There's no chance in hell the flying dildos will be.
That's a good question, Rockin' New Era. They stopped the game. I mean, this place seats like 3,200. Like, it's not like an 18,000 seat. They play at the home of the College Park Skyhawks in the G League. So this is like a small arena.
Interesting.
So, like, it would be tough for that person to get away scot-free, I think. Like, I'd imagine that. By the way,
a sinister twist to this, and I don't mean to I'm just saying all this for laughs. The fact that a lot of people on social media started highlighting Dwight Howard leaving the arena soon after that, I was laughing my ass off seeing that because he was supposedly in attendance. But all kidding aside, I did not know that this was in a small arena like that.
Yeah.
So,
it's weird because, like, you have the Atlanta Dream. They play in like a 3,200 seat arena. The Washington Mystics play in like a 4,200 seat arena, and the Golden State Valkyries sell out an 18,000 seat arena. I mean, like, the Mystics and Dream, they're selling out their games, but 4,000 is a lot different than 18,000.
Why do they do that? Why do they play in a 3,200 seat arena?
They're using both teams are using their G League facilities as so they're using one court for their G League and WNBA team for their.
But why? I mean that's an insanely small number. I mean, are they
I
afraid?
don't know.
Are they afraid of empty seats and the optics that come with that? I mean, I'm curious. Anyways, I feel like we've covered a lot. Have I missed anything, at least pertaining to the Valkyries? I want our program to do nothing but give that team, that organization, love. I've made this clear from the beginning. It's going to be a while before I start scrutinizing them the way I do the Golden State Warriors, because you're an expansion team, right? You should be given a grace period of a number of years to establish yourself, to form an identity, to get the right people in there. There's going to be so much trial and error to figure out what the do's and don'ts are. So for now, man, I just love the fact that we have a WNBA team in the Bay Area. I love the fact that there's something to discuss in the summer. I love the game itself. I hate the fact that Paige Beckers is not on the Valkyries, because people are posting these clips of her action, and she can play, man. Like she's
really good.
She is fun to watch. I know Caitlin Clark is obviously fun to watch. There's I'm drawing a blank on her name. The likely Nafisa Collier for Minnesota. She's fun to watch. Like there is a lot of value in this league, in this game, and it's gonna grow clearly. And once they figure out the salary thing, which again, I'm seeing the argument in more recent history of the fact that when you factor in valuations of these organizations and valuations of the league as a whole, you cannot be paying these players what you're paying them. It's absurd. Like Caitlin Clark making the same amount of money as a CPA for a mid-level company. Like, what are you doing here, man? Like, you got to pay these athletes an amount that is respectable, that is not shameful, which I think it is now. And even though the counter argument is, well, look, they're losing money every year, they're not drawing in enough revenue at this point. Yeah, but the league's value is so high that all these owners are sitting pretty at this point. And for them to be sitting pretty with hundreds of millions, if not billions, while the players are making these meager salaries, relying on endorsements to get the fair money that they deserve, I think it's kind of crazy. I get why they're ready to strike, or at least ready to renegotiate, if you will. I love the game, man. And I love the fact that the Valkyries are here. I love the fact that you're calling these games. Congratulations to that. Anything I missed? Anything you want to highlight about the Valkyries that you think should be brought up and highlighted?
Sorry. For the middle of a 5-game road trip right now, and it's the first back-to-back of the season coming up, Mystics and Sky, and then they have 2 games against the Las Vegas Aces. And again, Aces, Mystics, and Valkyries right now are kind of like the 7, 8, 9. The Fever are around there. And watch out for the Los Angeles Sparks. They just got Cameron Brink back. So anytime you're playing one of those teams, those are basically, close to must-wins. Like, those are games you want to get. You want to get the tiebreakers with those teams. If you can have tiebreakers with only 4 teams in the league, if you're the Valkyries, you want them against Washington, Las Vegas, Indiana, which they have the tiebreaker with Indiana, and the Los Angeles Sparks. And they only have 1 game. They're 2-1 against the Sparks, and they have 1 home game left there. So next home game, August 6th against Aces, and then it's August 9th against the Sparks. So this is a really big stretch here for the Valkyries. All
right, and we'll see what happens. And again, Kevin Danna, so you're full-time radio, but you oftentimes are doing TV, correct?
So I'm Jacob Toby's backup right now. Whenever Jacob Toby can't do TV, I do TV. So
what gets in his way to not be able to do Valkyries games? I'm just curious.
He does the San Antonio Spurs.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, he wants to build in a little break before he gets into NBA mode.
Makes sense. There you go.
Yeah. So
I just love the fact that at least on a broadcast level, you're quickly becoming to the Valkyries, and I mean this as pure praise, as Bob Fitzgerald is to the Warriors.
If I could be Bob Fitzgerald, I'd be more than happy. I love Bob. He's been great to me. That's my guy. I'm no Bob Fitzgerald.
Same.
I need to do this for another 30 years and do 7 Olympics before you can put me in the same conversation as him. But but yeah, no, it's been awesome doing these games. Like I really enjoy. Like Sophia's been awesome to work with. You work with Sophia, so you know how awesome she is.
Dude, she was my student at San Jose State. That's how that connection even formed.
Oh, really? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so it was purely organic, man. Yeah.
Yeah, or Jacob's great. Like, yeah, it's fun talking with them. Morgan Reagan on the TV side is awesome to work with.
She's a pro. She's a pro.
Yeah, she's a pro. So yeah, no, it's been fun. Yeah, it's been like I had high expectations for how much fun I'd have. It's surpassed those expectations. So just super, super grateful to be doing these games.
You mentioning Fitz randomly, I don't know why I thought of this, but it reminded me of my early days listening to radio and how I got into this. And Fitz used to, like, when he started, I think he had a nighttime show on KNBR. It was like a 7 to 10 p.m. type slot. And I can't remember if he came in before or after Scotty Farrell. But he eventually got promoted to the afternoon drive time show, which was hosted by a man who, I kid you not, I know this sounds weird, but listening to him is a huge reason why he got into this. And that's Pete Franklin. Are you old enough to remember him? The King?
I don't remember Pete Franklin. I remember when Rick Barry had the 12 to 3 spot or something like that.
And Percy Davis's show, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then I remember like Fitz doing it with Rod Brooks.
Right, and that became like a staple. This was before that. This was like mid-90s.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Pete Franklin came to the San Francisco market from Cleveland, and he was like this surly, bitter, old. He was old, dude. Like who knows? He could have been 45. He looked 65. I don't know what his age was, but he had a raspy, cranky. He was just a cranky old man, but it made for great radio, right? And so my friends and I, and this was like, I think in junior high when I first discovered this guy, and my friends were similar sports nerds, and we'd call his show just to piss him off, because what he'd do as his little bit, if he had people upset, callers upsetting him, he'd say, "You're an idiot, you're a schmuck, and this is what you deserve." And he'd do a toilet flush sound effect, right? And you get the flush and you hear the whole water trip. And that was your goal. That was our goal, at least, was just to get a rise out of Pete Franklin, because it made us laugh so hard. And then later, they promoted Bob Fitzgerald, and they called the show The King and the Kid. And it was Pete Franklin with Bob Fitzgerald, and eventually Pete Franklin retired, and then Fitz moved on with Rod Brooks. But anyways, I don't know why I just suddenly thought of all that. But back in the 90s,
I didn't know that about Pete. I didn't know Pete Franklin. That's a good story.
Rest in peace, Pete.
This was early 90s.
This was early to late 90s. This was like pretty much the 90s. This was
okay.
And then I think Ralph Barbieri is who stepped in for Pete Franklin. I think that's how it went.
Okay, wait. So they had the 3 p.m. because I remember the Razor and Mr. T. They were 3 to 7, right?
This was preceding that, correct?
Okay, I love like my dad and I. Like I used to drive around or ride around my dad's car. We listened to the Razor and Mr. T. That was awesome. Then I got to do one game with Tom Tolbert, and it was like,
did you?
Yeah, Warriors Heat game featuring Jimmy Butler on the other side.
I forget Tolbert's doing the color now. I forgot about that. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then we did some summer league games together too. But
nice.
Yeah. No, Tolbert's the man. Yeah, good time.
Good stuff, brother. Good stuff. Anything else going on you want to promote before we call it a wrap?
Nah, I think we pretty much covered it. Yeah, no, good time as always, Si.
Always a good time. The moment we finish this show, I'm going to start missing you again. I always miss you. I love you. You're one of the good people in this world. I wish you. All I do is wish nothing but the best for you, man. I'm rooting for you. You're one of the good people in this world, man, and you deserve that. And again, people can listen to you and sometimes see you when you're filling in on TV. Play-by-play broadcaster for the Golden State Valkyries, and play-by-play broadcaster for the Santa Cruz Warriors. When does that start up? Is that a good distance away?
Yeah, so we're looking like they haven't set the schedule. Will probably come out like first week of September. That's kind of been the flow. It will probably be, well, I think Saturday. So November 1st is a Saturday this year. I know that because I'm going to be doing a Cal football game that day.
You're so busy, dude. Take a breather once in a while, will you?
Oh, please? No, I am. Like I'm the backup for Cal football this year. Like October, you're not going to see me. And as long as the Valkyrie season goes, it could go into October. So the latest date they could play, I believe, Game 7 of the WNBA Finals is October 17th. So however long the Valkyrie season ends, after that, I'm going to be incognito. I am going to be off a Z grid until November. And then, so I think if November 1st is a Saturday, I bet the season starts like November 7th would be my guess. And then we'll go to like the last weekend of March for the regular season. Playoffs up until like mid-April or something.
What's for a typical month off like you're hopefully going to get in October? What's on the agenda? What's your itinerary? Is it Vegas? Is it gambling at home? What is the picture perfect month? It
might be. So I would like to go to Reno at some point. Cheaper like gambling there though. The poker tournaments. Peppermill's they got a good poker tournament over there. Unfortunately, Grand Sierra Resort was just in the news because of the shooting. That was horrible on Monday. Yeah.
I missed that.
That's a great place. I love Grand Sierra Resort.
Yes.
Definitely sorry to those who the families who lost someone from there. But I have a couple friends in Reno, so I might go up there for a little bit. What I'd like to do is go to France and maybe go to Monaco, whoever has a EuroLeague team in France.
I've been there. I've been to Monaco. Just don't walk around without your shirt. The police will come up and give you a harsh warning immediately. I learned that the hard way. Just because it was such a warm, perfect day, and you're right by the water, and I'm like, oh, shirt off. There were 2 seconds, man. A cop was like, "This is Monaco." It's a scene, brother. I just missed the GP. The Grand Prix that they have annually there.
Oh yeah, I watch Formula One, so I love me some Formula One. So the Monaco Grand Prix sucks, with all due respect.
I have no opinion.
There's no overtaking. The track is super narrow. It's you can't pass anybody. It's I know it's considered the creme de la creme of racing, but no, there are much better tracks. It's kind of
just like with the Surf City argument. Huntington Beach is the creme de la creme of the perception, right? But realistically speaking, Santa Cruz is.
But I would want to go to France because I've done a lot of French professional basketball, and so I'd want to go to a game of a city that I've done games for. What's up, Yup? But so there's a Valkyries tie in here. So Tijan Salon's sister Janelle is on the team. Yeah, Monaco. I'd probably need to rob a bank to be able to pay for that trip.
It is swanky, dude. It really is.
Yeah. Monte Carlo, But Janelle Salon's brother is Tijan, who was the number 6 overall pick in 2024. Just won a Summer League championship with the Charlotte Hornets. I did his games when he was with Cholet. I did the Wemby games. I did them for Tijan Salon and Zachary Risache too. And also Ryan Rupert's sister, Ileana Rupert, plays for the Valkyries, just came over from France. So there's a lot of French connection. Carla Late is from France. We got 3 French players on the Valkyries. And then with my history with French basketball, I want to go see some French basketball in person. So yeah.
What's Michael Petrus, former Golden State Warrior, up to do these days?
I did a Wembanyama game with Petrus. I actually did a lot with Roni Turioff, another former Warrior.
Yeah,
Roni is the man. Roni's awesome. If I go to Paris, I'm gonna hit him up and see if he's around.
Sacre bleu.
Sacre bleu.
Oh, that sounds so good.
Yeah.
It's rocking new era.
Exactly full. There's some French basketball for you.
I actually took French. I know some French, but I'm just
good.
muttering noises. But side note, escargot, very tasty. I don't know if you've ever had it.
Really? I don't think I'll touch that.
I had to do it once. Well, I've been to France a couple times, and I had to do it once. And it does come in the shells. So they're huge shells. I've never seen snails this big in the wild, but there's these massive snails with these big old shells. But the meat is so sauteed with butter and garlic, and I think I had pesto in there. You don't taste the thing, man. You're just literally it's kind of like an oyster shot, right? Where you just slurp it up and it's quickly over.
Yeah, I'm not doing oyster shots over here. Sorry. I'll find me a McDonald's over there. If that's the choice.
Yeah, you got to do the food. You got to try some of the. Don't do escargot.
I've been to Paris before. Paris is awesome. I love it.
Don't do McDonald's in Paris, please. I'm begging. If you're going to actually go out there, eat some real food. I love it, though. I think we're done. Kevin, keep up the tremendous work. Before we go, real quick, when Yup says, my neck, my back, and my back, I have to play.
My neck, my back, my neck and my back. Oh.
Yeah, if you call
that's Friday, right?
From Friday, correct?
Yes.
And
great line.
And that clip became synonymous with our program largely during Andre Iguodala's last year or two when he was missing games like all the time. I mean, dude, this is what happens when you push 40. And this is like, before you go, is Steph going to defy the odds? Because I want to do a show in the near future on Steph and how there were some declines this past season. And I think it's directly correlating with his age. And yet there's a lot of people who have this wild expectation that Steph at 38 is just going to keep it going at the same pace that he's been doing his entire career. Newsflash, Father Time is undefeated. Like he gets everyone. And at a certain point, like Steph is going to be a human being. And what do you foresee, man? Do you think Steph can do another year of MVP level caliber performances, or will reality start to set in here at some point?
I mean, he's under contract the next 2 years.
Correct.
I think these next 2 years, he's going to be playing at an all-star level.
There you go.
I think he can. I mean, he takes great care of himself. I don't see why not. I mean, then at the end of that contract, he'd be, 39? Then I mean, we'll see what happens there. I don't know how long he's going to play, but I do think he still has some really good years left in him. He was still really damn good this year.
Yes, he was, dude. Yes, he was. And I think it's just, again, the injuries is what you got to worry about. I hope they take care of him and not push him as hard this upcoming season. But Kevin Danna, I love you, brother. Again, just pace yourself, please. You. I don't know if there's anyone working harder than you in this industry right now. You're doing the Valkyries. You do the Santa Cruz Warriors. You do Cal football. You do all this all these other college sports. You're everywhere. Like, I don't know how many days off you get a week. I'm guessing maybe one. Just pace yourself. Please.
Usually 0. I've gone months without days off, but like
I know you have.
Now that I got the Valkyries, like I'm saying adios to a lot of stuff.
Good.
Good. It's going to be Valkyries. It's going to be Golden State Warriors. It's going to be Stanford women's basketball.
Good.
A couple of Cal football games, and then like whatever streams the NBA wants me to do. And outside of that, yeah.
I love it. Just keep your head on a swivel, my friend, because dildos are flying. And otherwise, thank you, brother. Thank you to everyone for joining us. And we'll be back soon. Follow Kevin Danna on Twitter at. Hold on. I'm sorry. At Kevo408. That's what I was trying to do. And I wanted to hide this comment before you go. I'm like losing my mind here, trying to finish up the show. Now we're done. I got it organized. Are we good?
Yeah. In the words of Brady Quinn, now I'm done.